The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform.
Aloha and welcome to this episode of Polymer Play with me, Barbara Hanson. Today we're going to be working on creating a petroglyph sea turtle, which in Hawaiian is called a Honu. And this is what we're going to be making. And eventually it'll be small and down like my earrings, very bottom. Let's jump in and go. So in the beginning of the cane, you can see that I have a spiral going around inside of it, and that's what we're going to build first, and then build the Honu out from there. So I've already sheeted my clay. With the light green, I took some white, a big block of white Kato clay, and some different chunks of green in there to create this nice sea foam color. Whenever you start, we want to have a nice clean edge. So I have whoops, that one's a little, there we go. You want to have them the same size. So I do that by laying one on top and cutting off the excess. You never want to waste your clay. It's not going to be quite this long, but okay. When you're building a jelly roll, the color that you put on the inside is going to stay in the inside and your outer color will be on the outside, if that makes sense. So this one, I want a green on the outside because I'm going to do the petroglyph turtle in blue around it. I'm going to taper my edge. And tapering is important because it helps reduce air pockets that are inside. So if I taper both the green and the blue, and I'm going to cut this into this blue. Actually, I don't think I want it quite that long. Let's see here. Okay, so I layer it on top. Pull this out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take this green. Ooh, I love how you can see the little lines in there from blending the colors. I'm going to tuck that in the inside. And then I'm going to roll. Oh, this clay is nice. Sometimes when you start to roll it, you'll get cracks in it. And if you do, you just kind of have to push them together. And I'm going to keep going until I have, let's see. Actually, I don't want it much bigger than that. So I'm going to taper here on the blue. And I'm going to roll just past it. And then I'm going to taper the green so that the blue is completely covered. See how that's covered? Now, whenever you're working, you get these innies and outies. And once I compact it, what I'm going to do is just cut the ends off to have a nice clean border. You always want to be able to see what's inside the cane. Oh, that one's perfect. Yeah. Okay, I think we're off to a good start with our little Honu friend here. Oh, I love that. Okay, so now we're going to start to create the body. Just want this to be super circular here. We get rid of that line. All right. Oops, it didn't really like me rolling it. Okay, so now if we take, I did this thicker one is what I'm going to use to create the actual petroglyph. So this is going to be enough for that. Ooh, it's a little stiff already. So you can kind of do this. Give it a little flex. That will soften it a bit. Remember, if your clay feels super cracky, you need to work it a little bit. Okay, that feels good. So I'm going to line it up on this side. And I'm going to cut it. Now I know I don't need all of this strip to go around it, but I know that I'm going to need more this width because that's the width that we're starting with. Actually, the very first piece that you do for your cane is going to determine the size of the whole thing. So if I would have made a tiny spiral, then I'd have a tiny turtle. If I did a bigger spiral, I'd have a bigger turtle. Okay, we want our ends. Whoop. Nope. We want them to end up flush. And that keeps our circle, oh, a little bit more. See how it's not quite right? We'll trim that a little more off. Because any little overlap is going to make it not look like it's one continuous circle. So see, I'm pinching together here to make sure that it's all comes together. So all the little tricks in the inside make it work when you get to the end. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to build its hind legs and tail. Now I'm going to do them actually right over. I'm going to put the, well, no, I'm going to do that as a head. I'm going to put it down here. Okay. When I do the legs, see, looks a little shorter. I'm going to pull it. When I'm doing the legs, I double do them, and the tail I single do, and I'll show you what I mean by that. The legs are longer, so I'm going to do 2 for one side, and again I'm going to do 2 for the other side, and oh my gosh, it might be perfect. Oh no, it might be a little small for the tail, but okay, so we have this. This is the bottom of the turtle. So I'm going to set my legs like this and my other leg like this. Now I choose to make them double. Have I always done it that way? No. Does that mean I'll always do it that way? No, you do it whatever way you want. If you want them thicker, thinner, if you want to shape them, give them flair, you can do that. I'm keeping this one pretty, I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can so it's easier for you to do at home. And then, wait, this is the same. That's the thin one. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go past that little notch. I'm going to do a thinner one for a tail. So you can kind of see where we're going with this. This is how it is when we're done. Okay. I think it needs to be a little bit wider. So now I'm going to start inserting the green in the bottom to hold it. So again, I'm going to take this length and create a sheet that I'll be using throughout the piece to fill it in. And I'll tell you, just as important as building the pieces inside is filling it in. It might even be more important, because you could have a great roll that you build, but if you don't house it correctly, it's not a great roll anymore. I mean, they're all great, but maybe it isn't exactly what you had wanted. Okay, so I'm going to put, this is going to be one side of the tail, and this is going to be the other side of the tail. Okay, so I have this going here. I always want to remember to check both sides. Now I'm going to put his legs. And then take this one and go in here and do his legs. Okay, now this section here is a little bit wedgy. It's not quite, it's more like a trapezoid. So I'm going to put this in to do that with a little sliver of this on either side. See how it's tapered there? We're going to fit that in just a little bit on both sides. That'll keep the legs going out. So we'll do that. We'll taper it and do that again. Okay. So we'll just put that in there. This one in here, and then that part's done. Again, checking both sides. Okay. Now at this point, see how this is kind of sticking out a little bit? We're going to clean that up. Just give it a little shave. All the green, we'll probably need all this green because it always takes more to finish it than you think. Okay, Now up to the arms. Okay, this is, so for this, I'm going to build them like, oops, not like that. I'm gonna try, I can trim them. Okay, see this beveled edge? It's gonna go up towards the head. And then this other beveled edge is gonna go on this side of the head. Of course, these arms are too long at this point. So now I'll cut them to the length that I want. This side, let's see, it's about the same. Okay. All right, it's looking pretty good there. For the head, I'm gonna roll a little tube. So as you notice, you can see some of the colors in there, like this kind of stuff. It's not really, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna make it look more oceany. And the blue and things, that won't really show by the time it gets small. So you don't have to worry if you get a little bit of debris on there. But you do wanna keep watching your gloves. I notice that more when I work with reds or blacks. You get a film on there and then you touch this and it looks dirty. Okay, so this is gonna be, oop, I don't know, I think he needs a bigger head there. So with the head, I roll the tube and then I'm gonna cover it in green and then I'm gonna start filling the whole guy in. Because the goal is to finish it in a circle because you need to have something you can pull down. If I just built it and left it like this, there's really nothing I could do with it. And I love this cane. It's one of my favorite ones. I mean, who doesn't love a turtle? I know we were down at Honolulu Black Sand Beach a couple days ago. I love seeing the turtles down there basking in the sun. It's so cool. Okay, so I've got this little divot here and I'm gonna put this on top. Okay, that's a little big, so I'm gonna pull it, cut off the excess. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. And take the green, again, we've got a taper. And I'm gonna come down on one side, wrap it around, cut it the same way on the other side. And then my blues line up. Hey, I nailed it! Oh, it's always fun. Oh my gosh, this guy's so cute. Okay, so now what we want to do, I usually start with the bottom part. And whenever you have a solid line that you want to keep, solid and not going like this, you want to keep a flat piece on top of it. So by not putting a bunch of little pieces of green in there and taking one big piece, lift the arm up to where you want it, flip it over. See, good thing I checked it because it wasn't quite right on this side. Okay, so yeah, it looks good on that side, not on that side. So now I'm just going to even do this cut down here, and do the other side. Yeah, when I first started doing this, I did like a little triangle and then another trapezoid and worked my way out. And I always wondered why his arms were going like this. Well, that's why. Okay, so this side, check this side. Oh, you know what? Needs a little more taper. That would have been funky on the end. Oh, and look at that. Only tapered on one side. Okay. Can't believe next year will be 40 years of polymer play. It's not work, it's play. Okay, cut this side. All right, now I'm gonna work the arms. And I'm gonna come in under the arm with a flat piece. Okay, it's gonna go right there. Flip it. Oh, it's kind of funky. Bring it up right there. Okay. I'm gonna follow the line of the arm, come straight down. And then I'm gonna give it, see now I can curve it a little bit because it's all one piece. Yes, okay. Same on this side. Might have made his arms too short. But every turtle is different, so it's okay. This side. This side goes in. Check the other side. And cut straight down again. Okay. Whoop. Shaved a little blue. If you notice, I have different thicknesses over here for different reasons. Like this one, I don't have to keep layering small. I could do a bigger one just to fill in the space a little quicker. That's the beauty of the dough sheeter. So when I'm mixing my colors and I'm building my canes, I make various thicknesses so that I can use them in different spots. Okay, so now when you're looking at it, see how this spot is like that, this V? So that's, if you think about it, that's the line, the contour that I want to have. Yeah, see that that nailed it. It's okay if it goes a little beyond because we have to fill the whole circle anyway. Okay, there's that, straight down. And okay, trim this one. Woohoo! So fun getting to show you how to make these things. It's funny when I was on vacation a little bit ago, and whenever I'm gone and away from my clay table, I come home and I'm like, oh, I get to do clay again. I'm so happy. Okay. See, we're getting rounder down here, but we've still got some business up here. So next, what am I going to do? Straight sheets on that. What is this one? I'm trying to keep it symmetrical with what I use so that the lines kind of follow the same contour on both sides. And okay. Oh, angle. So once I have this cane completed, there's so many different things you can do with it. I mean, you can just make a slice and put it on an earring, or you can use it as just one component in a bigger picture, like a clock or a little slice on a vase. Alrighty. Oh, that's a little too. Needs to be less tapered. Okay, we are getting so close. Okay, so you notice I'm not taking this and wrapping it like this because it doesn't make sense with what's happening right here. I'm just going to the edge, but I'll fix that. It's one of the last things that I'll do. So now I need to fill in his head. So I'm going to use this thicker one. See how it's cut? We'll actually, you know what? I don't like that white piece hitting him right there. I'm going to do it this side. Not that it would be wrong, it's just my preference. And slice here. And I'll take this slice, come over here. And then before I cut this piece, I'm going to come in and fill here. Okay, I've got this strange little area right there. Let me think. I think if every time you do it, it's just a little bit different. That's the beauty and the curse. think actually one of these triangles I did before might fill that space. You know, if you're looking at it, you can always troubleshoot and just see, oh, I should have done this, or oh, I can do that. There's really no right or wrong way. I'm teaching you the way that I do it, but this is not the only way to have it done. Okay, so I'm gonna take that in there. Now, see, there's still a little bit of an indentation right here. Maybe this will work. All right. It's looking kind of confusing right there, but it'll work its way out. Although I better flip it over and see. It's okay that it's over for now because I'm going to go back and round it out. Okay, there's that. So now we got to kind of work on this side. I think. I like that you can see the little lines in there. It looks really oceany to me. Is oceany a word? It is for Barbara. Okay. And then come up here, fill this one in. And we've got to do something with his head because his head is too close to the edge and we've got to figure out down there. Okay, it's getting there. It's so interesting that when you pull it down, you can't see any of these lines at all. And it just becomes completely flesh. I think that's one of the allures, part of the magic of it. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more around his head because otherwise when I pull it down, the blue is going to get too close to the top. And so it still looks a little funky, but I'm going to go through and kind of even up where it needs to be more rounded. And I think it's interesting how a lot of times when you shave like this and you cut it, you flip it over and it's like exactly what you need to fix the seam between two places. Okay, let's see here. When I'm looking at this, the one thing that I see that I don't like, see right here how it goes in, and this is higher. So when I go to pull this down, this stuff is going to come in. Even though I know my ends are going to get cut off, I'm just going to go ahead and fill that because it will save me a little bit of my cane later on. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's really just to bring it up to level. Okay, and I'm kind of looking to see if this side and this side have the same amount past them. This is not right. Okay, now I can take this piece. Actually, no, I'm gonna take, I was gonna put it there, but I think it'll be too thin. So let's taper a sheet on the bottom to cover up the legs so you don't have the same thing that I was talking about with the head poking through. All right, it's gonna come around. Oh, happy Honu. Taper it here. Okay. This is a hard part to teach. You just have to evaluate your roll as you're doing it and fill in to make a circle. Because any place that there's a weird lump or a gap, if there's too much clay, it's going to look like the pattern's too small inside. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good here. Now, normally, once I get to this point, I would want to let it sit overnight. And by doing so, everything gets, right now all the clay is soft because I'm working it. And yes, it'll pull down quicker, but the problem will be stuff will move around more because everything is super soft. So ideally, I can take it a little bit, but I'm gonna wanna wait until tomorrow. And when you're doing this part of the takedown, a lot of times I stand up and I literally put all my weight on it to get it to come down. But He's looking pretty good. Now at this point, once I feel like this outer is smooth, if I wanted to, I could put a blue sheet around it. That would look cool, but it's not necessary. And remember, when you're taking them down, you want to keep your ends clean. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit and use a piece that I already have so that you can see what we can do with it. All right. That's like a fast forward. So once you've got it down to this size, I can do all sorts of things with it. I can slice it and make an earring. Here's a bunch of different sizes. But I just want to show you some other things that you can do with it. On this piece, this is a mahogany turtle. I put an engine block epoxy over the top. I start with the perimeter, and then I'd go for the inside. So the very first piece I put on was that, and then I worked my way out. This really makes the Honu the focus point on the turtle itself. So I think that's cool. Another way you can use it, this is a clock, well, obviously, and I just used 2 on the bottom. And so when you're doing something like this, obviously it takes quite a bit to have all the different components to it. But I don't need all of this. I could just do turtles and make some starfish and have an underwater scene, and that would be a lot simpler. I can also slice it and poke a hole in it and make it into a necklace or a bracelet or necklace. And here's another way you can use it. Again, I use the engine block epoxy, and here it is, just a little spotlight in there with everything else. So the point of showing you all these different things is there's not just one thing you can do with it. There's a whole bunch of things, and I can't wait to see what you can do with this because it's fun. Oh wait, one more thing. We can also roll it into a bead. I forgot to show you that. Hope we have time to do that. When you're making a bead, you can take a bunch of little slices. And then I usually use scrap. I can use some of this, just like a little piece. Actually, this will mix back into a nice color. Whenever you're making a roll that the colors go well together, you can always reuse your clay. So you want to keep it separated. Okay, one last little thing. This is a fun bead. So with this, you're putting them all the way around, kind of like a soccer ball. And you want them to not overlap, but to cover the space. And you could do it bigger and make like a keychain or a paperweight. You could take this and make it as one bead in a necklace, make a whole strand of them. Okay, so I want you to see how they're not overlapping, but they're all touching. Okay, here comes the magic. It's the magic Honu roll. Yay. The last thing to remember too is whenever you're making something like this, actually anything, you want to use contrasting colors. If I would have done dark blue with like a royal blue, when you pull it down, you wouldn't be able to see it. So it's very important that you have a light and a dark when you work with these type of rolls. There it is. We have a little turtle bead. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a wonderful day. Go get some clay.